Broadcasting live from the orbiting underground moon base, it's the LRRcast. It's so quiet without Kathleen.
Yeah.
Yay.
There's no weird song. No, don't. No.
Okay.
Not even going to work. The Mario theme is better, but we could get sued, so let's just go
Nintendo
right into
is very litigious about that kind of stuff.
Let's just steer clear and, answer your questions. It is the LRRcast, guys. We literally not 3 seconds ago discussed a fun idea for the next LRRcast, so look forward to that. But for this week, we're just going to answer your questions, which I've asked for on Twitter. Next week, we'll do a big topic about basically discussing sort of how the first 6 months of the year have gone, the year of LRR, and what sort of plans we have for the rest of the time left in the year. Mm-hmm. And we'll do a big I'll do a forum post for all of you forum goers to ask questions. But for this week, Twitter.
And and for those of you listening at home, this is myself, Paul,
James,
and Cameron.
Yeah, and Graham and Kathleen are not with us today.
Nope.
They're
butts.
busy doing other stuff.
They're butts.
Also, their butts.
All right, let's get this going. I have a fantastic first question for us. What is your perfect sandwich? Anyone that is in front of me.
Anyone that really?
Yeah. If there's
not,
a sandwich,
not super picky about sandwiches?
No, I mean, my perfect sandwich would probably be like a really good. God, I don't even know. Like the BLT over at the Parsonage is very, very good.
I just had that for lunch. It was excellent.
It's a very good sandwich. I also like just regular like just lettuce, tomato, like actually like a veggie sandwich. They're actually quite tasty. Sprouts and stuff like that. A little bit of mayo, some fancy mustard. It's super good. But it has to be toasted. Mm-hmm. I can't. I like. It's weird if I'm eating like a pure. I don't know if this is because Cam's actually a vegetarian. When it comes to myself eating a vegetarian sandwich, the sandwich it has to be toasted. Mm-hmm. There's something weird about eating all of that vegetable with just some pieces of soft bread. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but I
insist on toasting too.
Yeah. But for like if I'm making like a ham sandwich at home or like a roast beef, I'm fine with that.
For some reason, I had a sandwich basically every day of my life when I was at school, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. When I went to school. And because of that, I think I'm still, I still have sort of a moral objection to paying for a regular sandwich at like a restaurant or something.
That's fair.
And so if I buy a sandwich at a restaurant and stuff, I always want it like
fancy.
Toasted or at least a hot sandwich.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm a big fan of toasted sandwiches in various forms.
I mean, like grilled cheese sandwich to this day is still phenomenal. Like I love making grilled cheese sandwiches, and even though I can't remember the last time I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I know that if I made one right now, I would enjoy it, and it would be very good.
Like I really enjoy at Friends of Bears downtown in Victoria. They make an excellent veggie Reuben.
Ooh.
Which I really like because
what do they use for their?
I don't know.
Is it some sort of meat substitute stuff?
No. It's no mock meat, but it's like an odd combination of flavors that simulates the corned beef, I guess.
Weird.
And I really like that. And the one I make for myself at home has just like sourdough bread and then like a thick layer of hummus and kale, red onion, tomato, really old aged cheddar cheese, and then like grainy mustard.
That all sounds good except for kale.
It with the hummus and red onion,
it works.
It tastes like really good, like a BLT.
All right. That's fair.
Yeah, it has like this odd smoky flavor to it.
That's cool.
Works really well.
That's cool. I need some new books to read. Recommend something obscure.
Ooh.
I'm not the person to ask for a book recommendation if you're looking for obscure. I will not be able to use anything. Cam, you seem like the most knowledgeable here for an obscure book. Maybe even Paul. It's definitely not me, is what I'm saying.
Well, I've read a couple of the book that I've read most recently is actually a play, which is Michael Frayn's Copenhagen, and it is about a meeting that took place in 1942 between Werner Heisenberg and Niels Bohr in Copenhagen, where they discussed the Nazi nuclear weapon program, or are purported to have discussed it, but nobody really knows and nobody wants to talk about it. And it plays on basically the uncertainty the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics and its uncertainty principle quite a bit about what actually happened and what it means for that discussion to have taken place and not taken place. And it's like I find it really enjoyable.
Cool. So this idea that it's this discussion that took place, and we know some of the implications of it, but we don't know actually what was said.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of trying to infer what was said based on what happened later.
Yeah, there's a wonderful part near the beginning where Heisenberg is talking about like how he has explained this conversation over and over and over again to journalists and intelligence officials and army interrogators, and so he's going to do it one more time. And there's only two things everyone knows about him, and one is the uncertainty principle, and everyone knows the uncertainty principle, or at least thinks they do. And the other is the subject of his famous trip to Copenhagen in 1942. And he says, so I'll try to explain it one more time now that everyone is dead and gone, and nobody can be hurt anymore by it. And it's actually supposed to be like the play is supposed to take place in the afterlife, and has all these different interpretations of what may have happened.
That's super cool. Cool.
Another book that I've read recently that I really enjoyed was The Information, which is a book about information as a concept and where it comes from and what some of the implications are. And it delves heavily into computer science and Claude Shannon's paper on basically like statistical mechanics and bandwidth and what a byte is or what a bit is.
That's cool.
And entropy, because in a lot of interpretations of StatsMech, you have entropy and information being analogous concepts.
Cool. All right. I feel bad because I've sort of fallen out of the habit of reading books.
Yeah,
like I spend a lot of time, like I don't read any less than I did before, but I just read, articles and
that's kind of where I'm at.
And news stuff and things, and so I haven't really sat down and read a book in quite a long time. But I don't know. I used to love all the Werner Vinge sci-fi and stuff, which I think I mentioned on podcasts before. But I don't know if that's technically obscure, but it's great stuff.
He wrote Hydrogen Steel, right?
I'm not sure.
Or no, he wrote Rainbow's End, something like that.
Possibly.
No, I'm thinking of someone else, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, next up. Look at the person to your left. Leftmost person, look to the far right. What is something about that person we don't know? I don't even know. You guys know way more. Like, I would be willing to wager that these people know more about you than I know about you.
Well, if you had actually paid attention to stuff.
And I suppose there's not even. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what you know about James.
Yeah, it's tricky, right?
It's a metaphysical question.
It's hard because I'm sure that if I thought long and hard enough, there would be something, but there's also things that I don't want to say.
Like a lot of the things that you don't know about us are kind of private.
And for a reason, yeah. Like at this point, if you don't know something about us, it's because we don't want you to know. You got anything for Cam?
I mean, we all know that Cam is a extremely well-dressed dude. What you don't know is all of his extremely well-dressed clothes are actually have Velcro down the sides of them so we can pull them
Pull
off.
them off at any time.
Yeah, like a stripper or whatever. Just,
Yeah.
Psha!
I mean, that's true for all of us, though. I think we all just like being able to get our clothes off very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I can't really share something specific about James, but I think, divulge at this point that Jade is actually a collective of tiny dogs.
True story. Yeah, that's absolutely
there's
true.
actually, I think 70.
Yeah.
Or
I think it's closer to
80,000. of
Yeah,
them.
it's getting up there.
Yeah.
They just keep multiplying.
Yeah, they're kaleidoscopic. It's very odd. It's actually an entity from another dimension.
God, that'd be cool.
Still cute.
It's
cute,
still adorable, but
still adorable.
but dear God.
The whispering is really what gets you.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna move on now. Will the missing episodes of Fail House ever return, or are they lost to Rever forever? No, I mean they're not lost to Rever forever. We have them, I think. It's just a matter of finding them, putting them somewhere so you can watch them.
They're lost forever to our laziness.
Yeah, that's a lot more. Yeah, that's actually true. Will things on my stream ever get a solid time slot?
Possibly. I don't know. This will probably go up afterwards, but I am going to be streaming on Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll have to see. It's something that I've thought about that actually doing. I mean, frankly, there aren't that many time slots left.
Well, not like
maybe I'd do like an early morning.
You'd have to do sort of early morning or like mid afternoon. But
yeah, I'd like to do a stream. I have to figure out, when I have time to do it and stuff. At the moment, usually when I have spare time, I am working on something else for the site. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't want to. Frankly, I would rather be like writing a script than streaming.
That's fair.
Just in terms of overall being productive, and producing things for the site. It's probably a better use of my time, but streaming is fun. So who knows? We'll figure out something.
All right. This may be way too early, but any plans on if/how Desert Bus will interrupt the weekly streaming? It will.
It will.
Totally.
And
we will.
And how it will is that it will completely.
It will completely stop streaming. Probably, I would wager that, at least, especially for the week of Desert Bus, there will clearly not be any other streams going on. Also, probably assume that even the week leading up to Desert Bus streams could be interrupted, and quite possibly the week after Desert Bus streams could still be interrupted. I would say expect interruptions the week before and the week after, and a complete cancellation of the streaming schedule during the actual run.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's going to be. There's no way for us to do... I mean, just the bandwidth alone to be able to... Yeah, no, it's stupid. There's no way. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Hamish, actually, this is funny. I didn't actually see this question. This is funny, though. It says, at just over the halfway mark, how do you feel the year of LRR is going? And we just said that that's something that we're going to do next week or in 2 weeks. So
we will get back to you on that.
Sit tight. If you were all on a deserted island, who do you think would be eaten first?
Me.
As in, like, cannibalized? Or
I
guess
so.
deserted. It wouldn't be really deserted if there were, like, 6 of us there.
I don't know. I feel like we would probably work pretty hard so we didn't have to eat somebody. I don't actually... I mean, I'm just going to go with Cam because he's offered himself up here. But
yeah, it's like, best case scenario, we're not eating anybody.
Yeah. Like, if we are on a desert island, stranded, and we are in the eating people phase, that's not something I have a lot of skills to contribute to.
Yeah, the vegetarians don't do too well in the eating people phase of the stuck on a desert island.
Yeah. I probably don't have a whole lot to give back to the world at that point, other than my literal body, and I'm going to opt out.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know, I gotta say, the Loading Ready Run crew, probably not the best in terms of being stuck on a desert island with, in terms of, calories, I guess.
Yeah.
We need to bring along a big fat guy.
All right. Sounds good.
He's like, what? Why did you invite me on this trip?
Yeah.
Like, oh, no reason. Here, have another turkey leg.
Don't even worry about it, fatty. Have you ever come across a video game cutscene that was too good for Unskippable?
Well, I mean, we've come across like there are video games cutscenes that are themselves really funny. Like there's some of the stuff from like the Stick of Truth or games that are actually like comedy games that are great cutscenes. Like they're funny, but we can't do them for Unskippable because you can't really make fun of a game that is already trying to be funny because it just unless it's done very poorly, you end up if it's like you can't make fun of a game for having a crappy looking character if that's the actual objective of the thing and they're making fun of it themselves. So that's the main reason why. I mean, we've said all the time that just because a game is good and even because a cutscene is good doesn't mean that we can't make fun of it. It just has to be sort of serious.
Yeah.
It has to take itself seriously, and then we can make fun of it. But I mean, a lot of the cutscenes we do and a lot of the games we do are great, and they really really fire you up for when you're actually playing the game. But you can still, take the piss out of them.
Mm-hmm. Paul, really quickly, you've answered this before, I'm sure. Why are you guys called Loading Ready Run?
Because it was an idea. I think Graham came up with it originally. It's from the Commodore 64. It's the process you go through in order to actually run a program on a Commodore 64.
Yeah.
You stick the thing in and you say load star dot star comma 8 or 8,1, which tells it to load it from the disk drive, and then it says loading dot 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 ready, and then you type run and hit enter and it runs. So that's where we that's why the site is all blue on blue, and we use the Commodore sound effects and all that stuff comes from the fact that Loading Ready Run. And I mean, as to why we chose that, we just thought it was a good name. We like video games, and it gave us kind of a starting point, I guess, for in terms of visual design and stuff that we quite liked.
Yeah. Any chance that season 2 or 3 will come back to DVD? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 and 3. There's no reason. It's just again making it happen.
Yeah, I mean the trick is that especially with DVDs, there's a minimum order amount.
Yeah.
And DVDs, unfortunately, is larger than like a T-shirt or whatever. You have to actually, in order to make it worthwhile, you have to print sort of a couple hundred. And so we have to get to a point where, we might do like a pre-order or something.
Pre-order for season 2 and 3, because
we have to get to the point where there's enough people who are, new fans who weren't around when we were originally selling them, so that we can pre-order a bunch and not be stuck with 500 copies.
Yeah. If you could rid the world of one form of social media, which one would it be? Yo. I would get rid of Yo. I would get rid of it really, really quickly. It would be gone. It would be not a thing. Yo.
One form of social media. I don't know. I think I think Facebook's time is probably over by now.
Yeah, I think Facebook is well into the eating its own tail phase.
Yeah, I think it absolutely is.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
the
thing.
It's getting to the point where it's sort of causing more like all the stuff that Facebook is doing with like Oculus things and stuff like that is kind of interesting. And I'd be fine with Facebook kind of working in that area and kind of letting the actual like Facebook social networking part kind of fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
The only thing that I use Facebook for, I mean, I'm only sort of barely on it myself, but the only reason why I visit Facebook is to look up like, restaurants that refuse to actually update their own website and just put their like specials on their Facebook page, which really bugs me.
Like the only reason I maintain Facebook is for the calendars and scheduling for events, which is convenient. Otherwise, as far as I can tell, everyone on my Facebook views it as an obligation.
Yeah, it's like you have to be on Facebook because everybody else has to be on Facebook.
Yeah. There's no one who is excited about Facebook anymore.
No. All right, chin strap or soul patch? I chose neither.
Which is worse or which is better?
Which one would you rather, I guess? I guess the
soul
patch.
Soul patch.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of chin straps.
Could I just opt for like branding with a hot iron?
At least the soul patch, can can be gotten rid of fairly quick. The chin strap requires the chin strap has the double-edged thing of not only looks dumb, but requires a ridiculously huge amount of maintenance to actually keep going. So it like has a double whammy. Whereas the soul patch is, pretty relaxed.
Yeah. Okay. This is a magic question, but we're going to answer it anyways. Hi, I want to build a cube to play with new players. Is 1 or 2 of each core set card of M15 a good idea? No.
No, because then you're basically building a core set limited environment. You're not actually developing a cube.
No, that's fine. Like you can build set specific cubes, but not with that ratio. That ratio does not work. You want 1 of each rare and mythic. You want 2 to 3 of each uncommon, and you want 3 to 4 of each common.
It would be interesting actually to play, after you draft M15 or M14 or whatever for a long time, play that in a cube where just the ratio of rares to commons is totally out of whack. It seems like it would completely mess the format up, and probably not in a good way.
All right, best fighting game. I love Soul Calibur 2 because you can block and have a standoff, dual style. It's kind of old though. Soul Calibur 2 is a great fighting game. It could actually be my favorite as well. I also loved. Oh god, I can. There's an X. All I can see is an X.
Like one of the
no, or wasn't that? Oh god, I can't remember.
SNKX Capcom or something.
No. Crap, I can't remember. I'll get back to you on that one.
I mean, I'm not really big on fighting games, but I have a lot of nostalgic love for the Mortal Kombat series. Just the ridiculousness of it, I appreciate. And I played the crap out of Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. So that's probably where I am at.
Yeah, I never really developed any kind of ability with fighting games, and I haven't really played them. I just remember getting stomped the few times I tried playing them in the arcade by people who were clearly way better at it and called me a button masher, and I gave up.
Yeah, I mean, I never said that I was actually any good at at Mortal Kombat. And yeah, I was pretty much a button masher.
I mean, Super Smash Brothers is sweet.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Guilty Gear. That's what I'm thinking of.
Guilty Gear X.
Guilty Gear X. That is one of my all-time favorites. That's a very good game. All right, next question. Most disappointing game of Loading Ready Live so far? Most unexpectedly enjoyable? To be honest, I haven't played that very wide range of games. Disappointed. Kingdoms of Amalur. It's kind of boring.
Oh, you actually played that for a bit?
Yeah, I played it both at home and on the stream, and it's WoW in a single player kind of environment, and it's not that good.
I thought it was MMO.
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. Pretty sure it was just sort of single player. Single player, big, yeah, it was okay.
I was really disappointed with Watch Dogs to the extent that I didn't even play it on my stream. I just watched a lot of videos of it. And
did you play it at home at all? Or?
No. I just read the reviews, watched some other people play it, and realized it was kind of like a sandbox game with an additional layer, and it didn't appeal to me.
Yeah, I was super stoked about Watch Dogs, and it seems like it didn't really live up to the hype.
No, it did not, which is disappointing because it was certainly hyped.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, so from a streaming perspective, Graham and I did The Witcher 2, and it was sort of one of these interesting situations where it's actually a fine game, but it did not work well at all for the stream. We found that because there's just a lot of talking in it, and there's a lot of it's got that sort of Oblivion style thing where you end up you whenever you try to go anywhere, you get sidetracked by 50 different side quests.
Right.
And that combined with, dealing with, interacting with the chat and doing all the stuff is we'd be just constantly forgetting where the heck we were supposed to be going. And we'd spend an entire 3-hour streaming session without actually engaging in any combat because we're just talking to people. And it's just like, this is not actually very good.
No.
So it's a great, from what I understand, it's a really good game. But
Streaming wise,
it was disappointing streaming wise. Yeah.
I was really impressed by how much people liked XCOM when I was playing it. I thought it was actually a surprisingly good game for the stream because there's relatively little dead time in it. Anytime where you just like go, like when you go to the geoscape and advance time, that's actually a very brief amount of time in which you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And it also seemed to engage people really well because I got to name soldiers after them, and it was really cool.
Yeah. Beyond Two Souls was probably the most frustrating game because it had that, like, it was much more so than games that we played that are actually like flat out bad. It had this thing where it was like obviously a ton of really talented people were working on it. It looked very nice, and it had some interesting bits in it, but it just failed in such a sort of profound way in the actual storytelling department, which was kind of the thing that it was supposed to be good at. And it kind of sacrificed everything else so it could be good at the story department, and then it just crapped the bed completely on that. So that was a little disappointing. But I think it made for a good stream because it was so weird and we were angry at it, which I think people enjoy watching.
All right, 2 more questions, and I don't really have an answer for this, but I hope you guys do because it's a good question. What was the first video game, cartoon, movie death that affected you? I'm not,
there's commas in there.
Yeah. Well, there's slashes, but yeah,
Slashes.
Video game, basically media.
Yeah.
Like the first fictional character that died that affected you, and I'm not saying it certainly has happened, but I can't put a finger on the first. Really.
Yeah.
The only one that really springs to mind is this is super recent, so it couldn't have been the first, but it was actually Ned Stark in Game of Thrones.
Ooh, yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a shock.
Yeah, just because it wasn't what I was expecting from your like high fantasy. Well, it's not even high fantasy, and now people are going to be annoyed with me. But like fantasy book series, right? Like I had become used to like Dragonlance.ebook.
Yeah.
And when I read Game of Thrones, it sets it up, and you expect the main character to get out scot-free, and then he doesn't, and then you realize, oh, wait, of course he doesn't. He's the father figure in a book, but we've just never, ever really had one of those books from the father figure's perspective before. It's like if Star Wars had been told from the perspective of Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that example. That's good. I mean, there's the Eris in Final Fantasy VII. I was quite surprised at, I should say. There's been a few ones where I've been like, oh man, like, especially games where, I mean, and it makes me more angry than sad, but games where like something bad or someone is about, you have to like kill somebody who you don't want to kill, or something bad's about to happen, and then and you're going through like a cutscene and bad stuff is happening, and then the cutscene ends and they force you to actually do the bad thing. Yeah. And you're like, God damn you, video game.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're doing, but it still is. It doesn't actually make it less effective.
Yeah.
So there's I think like there's one of the Splinter Cells where you have to do that, and like it's especially in that one you have to like kill your buddy who turns out to be like a bad guy, and it was your buddy, and it brings you, so he's like, you have to kill me, and it brings you out, and you have your gun pointed at him with the laser sight pointed at his face, and this is on the PC, so it's mouse control, and you can move your mouse in a little teeny weeny square, so you can choose what part of his face you want to shoot, but you can't turn away.
Wow.
It's just like, why did you let me move it at all?
That's cold.
That is cruel. Wow. Yeah, that's impressive. All right. Last question, then we're going to wrap it up, and I like this one. Would you rather fight 1 gram-sized Paul or 100 Paul-sized grams? In this case, I'll take the gram-sized Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Actually-
Graham is like taller than me,
Yep.
but
So
the
that-
difference is not as big as between a duck and a horse.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely not.
No. If I could get like 1/4 scale Paul-size Grams, I think I would totally fight 100 of those. That would be awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
1 gram size Paul.
Yeah,
Yeah, 1 gram size Paul.
1 gram size Paul.
I
Now,
think I
I'm,
could
now
take
I'm just imagining
No,
me
no,
being-
I couldn't.
me being really big.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for this week. I think it maybe on.
I just want to get. I'm just imagining like I get bitten by a radioactive gram,
Okay.
so I have the proportional strength
Of Graham.
of a gram. Wait, no, that means I would be less strong because he's bigger than me.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, you don't want.
I
that
did
at
it the
all.
other way around.
Yeah.
Graham needs to have the proportional strength of Paul, so that he's like whatever, 5% stronger.
Yeah, I was gonna say not that much stronger version of Graham.
Really, this is just like pick your flavor of ass beating.
Yeah. And with that, we're gonna call it a day. But we will be back in 2 weeks' time with the state of LRR, as I am now calling it, because I think it sounds badass. And thanks for watching, guys.